Okay, Steve Kelley here with LiveFreeRealty.com, talking about your basement renovations and where you can start with a foam insulation. Again, this is an R10. This is the biggest foam that they sell at your standard Lowe's, Home Depot. And what I did was I cut this to fit where I had left off. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to adhesive, and I'm going to show you how it's all done. We're going to stick it on there, and I'm going to let it dry, probably at least a half hour, but usually overnight. The glue doesn't settle right away. So if you happen to make a mistake or something, it's not too hard to go back and actually make a change to it. But once it's on there, it's going to be pretty darn tight. So let me show you. So I fit this ahead of time so that it'd be easy to work with. And then what I'm going to do is simply get a good position and a decent angle. And what you want to do with this Loctite product is you're going to snip the top, but that's not going to give you access. You actually have to puncture it. So sometimes you actually have to cut it low enough you can get something in there. Some of these will actually have a puncture on it. Very handy. And then they also have a bigger size of this. So if you're doing a lot of it, the little cans are more for real quick jobs, but the big cans, if you're doing a lot of production, it's going to help and it's going to speed up your time. All right, probably actually save you some money buying it in bulk. So now I'm just going to show you. I'm going to let this come out. Yep. And the trick with these is not to overload them so that they just start flowing out right away, because you'll use probably a whole can, maybe on 2 pieces, depending on how hard you're going to do it. So here I'm just trying to give it at least an outline, and you want to leave a little space. And you definitely don't want to touch this stuff. When we're doing production of it, I'd actually wear gloves, for sure. It doesn't come off your hands very easy, as you can imagine. My biggest thought on this is don't let it clump, because I found that that will sometimes cause a little bit more of an issue than you might expect up front. So if you can make it decently smooth when you press it, you're going to get a good result. So even there, that's a little light, so I'm going to also go across the edges. Big thing you want to remember with this is careful where you put it down, because it will continue to add pressure unless you disengage the push, and even then you're still gonna have a little bit come out just because of the inertia. So I always just give it a second, wipe it off, and usually put it on the next board depending on how your production is gonna go. And then carefully, I'm gonna try not to get this on myself as I do it, but basically I've got to flip it or on anything else and just press it against the wall. And so just a little bit of pressure to flatten it out, but pretty much you're done here. So you just want to make sure you haven't missed anything, because if it's not touching, it won't stick. And that'll matter for other layers, especially if you're planning to put drywall on it, as it is a bit of a fire hazard. So what else I would recommend is there may be some gaps, like we have a few gaps in here. You can always fill that in with some sort of grate stuff or anything. But considering that we're going to go over it, it won't make so much of a difference. But obviously, the tighter you get it, the better you're going to have a seal. All right. So I hope that's helpful. And if you have any questions, again, all I'm going to do is take some drywall from this. So this comes in your standard 4x8, and so won't the drywall. So it's pretty easy to do the math, figure out about how much you're going to need. And especially if you're doing a lot, you might want to buy it in bulk. But essentially, I'm just going to do the same process with the drywall. I'll probably use a 1/4 inch drywall down here, because we're trying to keep the square footage about as good as we can. But at the very least, you're going to want to cover it with something. So I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, livefreerealty.com. You can keep updated on all our renovations, all our tips, tricks, and everything that's going to help you be a great investor, whether it's your home or an investment property. We can help you. LiveFreeRealty.com. Get looking today. And I'm Steve Kelley, and I want to be your investor agent.